are back. Welcome back to the Nick Hall Comedy Podcast. I'm your host, Nick Hall, joined as always by
Josh Griffey.
Hey, big week, kinda.
No, it's a big week official.
Yeah,
it reached the threshold of the
got another video shadow ban. So, thanks a lot, YouTube. Appreciate it.
Yeah, guys, if you want to go to YouTube, look up our video. Which one? What
Infield fly rule?
Easily the least offensive video we've ever done. Easily the least amount of cusses we've ever done. Banned by YouTube. Unable to make money off of it. Thanks, YouTube.
Thanks, YouTube. Appreciate that. That's so that's two of them now. Shadow banned for
this one we didn't even say stripper's butthole.
No, we didn't. We didn't even it's not even that cussy, really.
No. I think the thing that got us banned, once. Yeah, you said if you're too much of a pussy to hit one out of the infield. Like 3 times, right? That's really the only thing.
Well, maybe they manual reviewed it, and the guy that fucking manual reviews like, I never hit one out of the infield. Like, fuck these guys.
I always go oppo on the grounders.
I'm a right fielder. This is fucking bullshit.
It's so funny because we just did a video about dumb things coaches say.
Yeah.
And I used to play on a softball team, and that was like when we were struggling, someone's like, start hitting him on the ground, make him earn the out. And it's like, oh my God, I just want to quit the team.
Yeah.
Like, that's the dumbest.
It's a lot of fun.
No, don't hit one on the ground, chug another beer, sack up, and go hit one over the goddamn fence.
Yeah, we 2 shadow bans now. We're gonna find a way to fight back in some way, and hopefully you guys can help us. And more information on that coming soon.
Also, another way to help us before we get rolling, merch at CoachKentMurphy.com makes an excellent holiday gift. Thank you guys. We've been seeing a lot of merch flying. That's good. Also, if you're listening to us on YouTube, go to the Apple Podcast app. Right? Look up Nick Hall Comedy, leave a 5-star rating, and write a quick 1 or 2 sentence review about why you love us. That helps us out a ton. You guys have been doing that really well
you guys
lately.
Been killing it.
We fucking appreciate it, but, we got to ask, man.
Much appreciated. Yes, sir. At Coach Kent Murphy on all social medias. None of that fake bullshit.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, now we got just a fucking banger of a show, dude. We are so pumped for today.
It's a fun one. That's
I'll let you choose where we start.
Stupid shit.
We got so many.
Yeah. I guess we can start with T.I.
Not his daughter. You can't start with his daughter,
no.
But you can start with T.I.
Yes, don't start her up. Don't start that engine up. So, I'm thumbing through news articles, as I do.
Yes.
The other day, and sure enough, T.I. pops up with a headline that he takes his daughter to the gynecologist every year on her birthday to make sure that her hymen is still intact. Great parenting, fella. Yeah.
I love the first Google search is T.I. daughter crime.
Well, my first thought after reading it was like, I wonder how often she gets butt fucked. You know what I mean? Like, her dad thinks he's slick. T.I. thinks he's slick, and she's just taking high school dates out and just be like, yeah, you can fuck my ass. My dad doesn't check for that.
I've got 2 other places. Yeah, my uncle used to call that Christian sex. Anal. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So you got to stay intact for the marriage. This one is a weird one to just volunteer in 2019.
Yeah.
Like, you got to read the room a little. Like, this is the funny thing. I guess T.I. still exists. Like, I haven't heard about him since,
He used to be a hit machine. And then,
what was early 2000 weight room stuff? You'd always have the guy that's like, T.I., dude. I used to work out, and this guy would be like, if I ever was in a cage fight, like, that's just something that would happen. He's like, if I ever just go from bench press to picking up cage fighting.
Listen, one of these days, I'm going to find myself cage fighting a guy.
Someday I'll find myself needing an intro walk-in song to a cage fight. T.I. And I just be like, all right, I mean, there's like tons of other cooler songs, but that's fine. That was probably the last time I thought about T.I. So then he's just getting interviewed, which, again, I thought was weird. I'm like, I must have a project coming out of some kind.
I'm sure he's still writing or something, yeah.
Like, this is one of those things he must have, because I'm assuming whoever it was, right, the interviewer wasn't like, so tell me about your daughter's pussy, right? Like, to just immediately leap from, hey, tell us about the movie you're in.
So, T.I., I hear you got a daughter. Is she still a virgin or what? What's going on with that? What's her pussy like?
We're in the market. But yeah, so he must have been so proud of himself for this, that he's like, I'm going to make a wave into the parenting money pool. People were fucking furious. By the way, this is one of those, I almost delete Twitter about 5 times a week.
Sure.
Because it's just unbearable. Even with muting words, right? Like, every Trump thing is muted for me. Any snowflake,
just politics
social justice.
In general.
Yeah, any of those kind of debates. You're like, I'm here for movies and sports news. Like, I don't need this. But even with muted, it still gets through somehow, always. This is one of those where I'm like, thank God for Twitter. It was the fucking best Twitter day.
Incredible.
The results were furious, right? The other thing that was so funny in the article is not only does he say he still does it.
Yeah.
I don't remember reading in the article if he said when he's going to stop doing it. I assume when she's like, I'm engaged.
For all I know, his daughter's like 35. I don't know how old his daughter is.
I think they said she's 20 years old now.
20 and she's still
19 or 20?
Still doing that? Oh my God.
Yeah, oh my God. No, she's 18 right now.
Okay.
She's 18 according to this article.
Still
old, right? Like she can go fight and die for our country.
Yeah.
Maybe she could, use her vagina. Like that's enough. But then he went on and he's like, well, this was my strategy. He's like, because, no one wants virgins hanging around.
Nobody
They're
wants
real
to hang out with a virgin.
And I was like, so T.I. just openly was like, I've been around other dads' virgins. Not a fan.
Not a fan. Not a fan.
The master plan here, ridiculous. But this is what I'm wondering, because he's obviously very proud of himself. What did he think was going to happen when he said this?
Here's the way I read it. I didn't hear the actual audio or anything. I just read the article.
It was on E! News.
But the way it sounded was that he was like, this was a big parenting breakthrough. Like he had thought of something great, and he's like, check this out. Hey, dads, listen up.
Yeah. Right?
I don't think it was ever in his mind that I shouldn't be saying or doing this. In his mind, he was like, this is definitely the right thing to do.
Well, it was on a podcast, whatever you like, right?
Yeah.
So a little more lenient, right?
Sure.
He's probably like, oh, I'll do a funny joke or something. The episode has since been deleted, apparently.
Ooh.
After he constantly referred to his daughter's hymen being intact. I can't believe the podcast took it down. If we were ever lucky enough to get someone to say something like that on here, I'd be like, sorry, man, we're not friends anymore.
Yeah,
I'm blasting that to the heavens.
Amplifying it as much as I can.
Talk about a signal boost. Where do you fall down on, because I'm a parent now, and this is something that us parents deal with, right?
Sure.
There's this weird thing that's happened in parenting now where parents actually do stuff. Like when I was a kid, it was just like, go outside and don't die, be home by dark, right? That was the only rule, be home by dark. Because I was telling you, when we were kids, we used to live by train tracks, and we'd go out there and just smash Coke bottles on them and set shit to be blown up on the tracks.
Sure.
We could have derailed a train with a Ninja Turtle action figure, but that was life. Now it's my kids were outside in the snow, and my wife came in for a minute, and she's like, do you think it's okay that our kids are playing outside? I'm like, in our fenced-in backyard with our gigantic dog? I think. But then you're like, God damn it, some neighbor's going to see that and put us on the Facebook group or whatever. So it's hard. But I feel like this might still be over the line.
Planned Parenthood chimed in. They were like, hey, fella. It just, it's not a good look. It's not a good look.
It's a bad look.
Look, if you want to do it, that's one thing.
No.
I'm not saying it's okay, but it's one of those things. It's like people do shit, and then they're like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell the world about it. It's like, how fucking stupid are you?
I'm going to do a quick experiment of T.I.'s top lyrics, right? And I'm assuming it's what do you know? Yeah, there's
didn't he do Tipsy? Was that T.I.? No,
I think he cameoed
so.
on that's the thing. I'm never gonna know. And this is making me read a lot, but I'm looking, gives good head, blah blah blah. Okay, so there's a lot of sex stuff.
Sure.
This is the same thing of Gene Simmons coming out and being like, I don't want you fucking strange men, daughter. It's like, Dad, you made your entire fortune on strange men.
Fortune.
Yeah, right? This is the Gene Simmons family business model, right?
Yeah.
Fucking ugly strange men
they sell Kiss coffins. It's fine.
Granted, I was once a card-carrying member of the Kiss Army, so don't at me. I could do that. I love Kiss. But I do think there's something funny, right? We remember this when that reality show, The Osbournes, came out.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, how can you be Ozzy Osbourne and ever, parent a child? Because they can just be like, hey, I saw this documentary, The Decline of Western Civilization.
Yeah.
Weren't you pissing and snorting on fire ants and shit? He's like, that was different.
I was different, man.
Now get in the car. Let's go check your pussy. It's weird because it's so funny, too, because it's kind of the it's the coin flip of R. Kelly.
Well, yeah, but it's if he had a son, he wouldn't be like every time his son walked in the door, let me smell your dong.
Whip that hog out.
You haven't been fucking, have you?
He has one of those airport trained
no way
dogs.
that happens.
It's as long as it smells like pussy, guaranteed pussy. Yeah, it's a bad look. This is the thing, though. In 2019. You got to be a little wiser about what you give forth, right?
Yeah.
Because this is the thing.
Stop telling everybody everything.
And we live in Indiana, right? There are weird people that still cling to these kind of ancient religious ideas.
Oh, yeah. Everywhere.
like, I know I probably shouldn't say this in case they find it on Facebook, but we have neighbors that were just like, hey, we want to do like Christian service to the neighborhood by we'll watch your kids. Like, just drop your kids off and then you guys can go Christmas shopping. I was like, one, if I had a babysitter,
no,
not Christmas shopping. We're just coming home and having like a fuck fest. Two, I don't know you.
Yeah.
So this is how horror movies start, right?
Yeah, that's exactly how like mass murders start.
Exactly. Like all of a sudden you come and you're like, oh, where are my kids? Oh, they're the two corpses with Nike shoes on?
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, thanks, Ted Bundy.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm just supposed to, because you believe that there's some kind of like old white guy in the sky, that it's okay for you to just take my fucking kids? Like, that's if you're religious, you're the least likely person to watch my kids because you believe in crazy shit. You know what I mean?
Correct. Yeah,
like, there are just things in the Bible that are like Texas Chainsaw Massacre level scary. And it's like, if that's what you're basing your life on, like, because I told you it's funny because I have all these books on like demonology and witchcraft and shit. And every time my wife threatens to like have the neighbors over, I'm like, all right, but I'm going to put my demon books everywhere. You know, so people know they're not supposed to be in my house. But I don't know. There's just weird, I get the mind space, right? It's like a terrible old head space. But you don't have to say it out loud, man.
Right.
Keep some of your weird shit to yourself. Yeah. This is something we've lost in today's era.
It's like, and if you're that concerned about your daughter's virginity, just have a grown-up talk with her. You know what I mean? Have the talk with her. But even so, like, she's 18. Like,
well, here's like one of the dumb things that like this is a dad joke that you've heard a lot, and you used to be like, yeah, that's true, and then you're like, oh, that's ugh. But if you have a boy, you only have to worry about one dick.
Oh, yeah.
If you have a daughter, you have to worry about everyone's dick. And I was like, really? Like, I have friends who have daughters, right? And it's like, do you really spend all your time like Mad Max holding a machete? Like, ooh, if one dick comes close to my property.
But I also wonder if like the doctor was cool and like
he's just lying to her.
He went in there and he was like, God damn, you've been piped a bunch. Yeah, it looks good, T.I.
Dude,
looks good.
Here's the documentary expose, right? Serial season 4. It's going to be like, and then T.I. found out the doctor was fucking his daughter. The doctor just comes out and he's like all fucking sweaty.
I want to know like how involved it was too. Like, did he make the doctor take pictures? Give me a picture of the hymen. I'm not taking your word for it. I need to see the hymen for myself.
There's no way T.I. has enough.
What a fucking weirdo, man.
If you asked me right now to draw, like if you did like a criminal lineup of the hymen, I couldn't tell you what the fuck it is. There's no way T.I. has the training.
Not a chance.
To do that. So this doctor comes out all sweaty and he's just like, oh, that was an intense exam. Your daughter's perfectly fine. Wink. That's going to be the sub-story.
Aren't you, honey?
Yeah, that would be a great movie. And all of a sudden she's like, ha-ha, Dad. God. Not only did I fuck, but I fucked a successful doctor.
Or what if it's like Vinatieri's brother? So like even if he's trying his best, there's only about a 70% chance he's right. You know what I mean? Like, I think I saw a hymen in there. I'm not sure.
T.I.'s daughter's just like, is it normal sex to just keep poking my thigh?
I should have retired 8 years ago. I'm not know why I'm still doctoring.
He's like, someone's got to get the laces out. I keep hitting her kneecap.
Don't worry. They're trying out 4 doctors tomorrow. See what happens.
How are you doing in your dealing with Vinatieri life?
Not well.
Is it still rough?
Not well.
Jacoby's hurt. This is a rough time.
Yeah, Sunday was a banner day for me. I did a lot of screaming at the TV. The Colts and the Chiefs cost me a good amount of money.
Yeah.
Thanks, Vinatieri. Appreciate you. God damn.
Yeah, gambling life is hard, man.
Yeah. They're bringing in 4 guys this week to kick. They brought in 6 guys after the Titans game.
Yeah.
They're going to run him back out next week, and they're going to be like, oh,
I think they're just going to
We couldn't find anything better. We couldn't find anything better. Like, you could have, but.
I mean, there are kids who are old enough to still be getting their vaginas checked by T.I. who can kick a ball. That's better. At this age, you just need someone who's not your grandpa's age.
At this point, you can bring in Kathy Ireland and let her. You know what I mean? Like, necessary roughness. I'll take her.
This is how the Colts do it. They bring Andrew Luck
If we're going
to
do a 50-year-old person, at least Kathy Ireland's probably still hot.
Just say Andrew Luck, you get the exact same contract, but you just have to kick with your gigantic legs.
I'm in.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd do that if I was the Colts.
I'm in. I don't get it. I don't get the it's maddening watching him.
I don't understand why they won't just cut him.
Not only still running him out, but still like seemingly defending him.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh no, he's still our kicker." Like, why? Why?
Well, it is the weird sports thing where it's a thing that us fans are trained. Well, not me. I'm totally anti being like hardcore team. I'll fucking drop a team at the drop of a hat, right? But it is this thing we're conditioned to always support your team, right? And there's this weird thing that some guys are like, well, if I'm there in the bad times, it makes me a better fan. It's like, no, it just makes you adult.
Well, yeah.
But that's fine. And this is how it happens, though, because they see the kicker and they're like, ooh, I don't like this. I can see with my eyes. But also, I want to be a good fan. It's just, you know, well, anytime you see a kick sail 15 feet wide.
15 yards.
15 yards,
yeah,
sorry.
It wasn't,
not 5 yards, 15 yards.
But that was the laces.
Like 5 times.
Sure.
Yeah, well, once. Sure.
Yeah, but that's...
But now it's like 10 kicks
That's what caused you to kick it to fucking Missouri instead of through the upright. Yeah,
I want to see a sports science on how much the laces matter. I feel like that's one of those coaching things that people say, and it's a preference, but it's like, is it worth 15 yards?
The best point I've heard was a radio host, and I'm not going to say his name because I hate his guts, but he was just basically like, I don't know why they're hesitating to get rid of this guy. This is the same franchise that cut Peyton Manning.
Yes.
And it's like, so where are we holding Vinatieri right now in this pantheon of players? If we're willing to cut Peyton Manning and be like, you know what? We're hanging on to Vinny, though.
It's great. Peyton Manning is easily the number one most beloved athlete in the history of Indiana.
City. Yeah,
no one is loved above.
It's Reggie Miller and Peyton Manning.
Yeah, and then like on a lower level, everyone's most...
Reggie Wayne's close. He's up there, but he's
number
still...
3 is everyone's like most hardo uncle loves Bob Knight. Those are like the 3.
Yeah, Bob Knight.
But Bob Knight was like if you liked IU, right? And then maybe like Gene Katie. But there's a couple. But Peyton Manning is way at the top of the heap.
Way at the top.
And some days you just got to realize like, dude, it's over.
It's done.
It's just done. The fact that you... And it's weird because the Colts have such a good front office. They seemingly have made all the right choices for like 6 seasons.
Well,
they're drafting exceptionally well. They've been really good with their cap
space. For 2
space.
seasons.
I mean, I feel like they've been...
Don't like, prop up the Grixon and Pagano era.
Right.
That was a shit
starting
show.
with letting Peyton go, I was like, that's a great choice. A lot of places...
It was the right choice at the time.
It was the right choice.
It was the right choice.
I mean, I guess that's true. They didn't do everything
Although
right.
Although he did go win a Super Bowl, and now the quarterback we cut him to draft already retired.
Adam Vinatieri could have quarterbacked in that game as well as Peyton Manning could have.
But did he though?
It's the worst performance.
Osweiler almost started.
It's the worst performance by a quarterback who's won a Super Bowl in the history of the Super Bowl.
Nah, man.
He had like 110 yards.
Yeah.
Interception. Like, he was terrible. His stats in that Super Bowl were embarrassing.
He's so great that he knew that that's all he had to do. That's how great
I think that Von Miller guy had some extra soup. He's gonna kill it.
Some of that chunky soup. Speaking of idiots,
I'm looking this up because it's so annoying that you will not admit that Peyton Manning's not the greatest quarterback of all time.
He is, but
he's not.
Yeah, it's neither here nor there.
Okay, so he finished the game 13 for 23. 141 yards, no touchdowns, and 1 interception.
Yeah.
That's the worst, most pathetic stat line for a Super Bowl winning QB.
That's a win, baby.
Okay, now this is where you're going to do the old guy on me. Only one stat I care about, W's.
The W. the Terry Bradshaw argument. Yeah, he won a bunch. Yeah, but he wasn't very good.
T. Bradshaw can still spin it. He
wasn't very good, though.
Terry Bradshaw can still spin it, is what they tell me. That's what Phil Simms tells me.
Here's a hot take. I don't think Joe Montana was that good.
Yes, I know your takes. I know your takes. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. No,
it helps when you play on like 5 of the greatest teams ever.
That's fine. You don't
assembled.
have to, I'm not arguing the rings thing with you. Tom Brady's a lot better than Peyton Manning at quarterback.
Disagreed.
He just is.
Disagreed.
He never had Reggie Wayne.
It's asinine. No, he had Randy Moss
for 1 season, and they went undefeated until the wildest play in Super Bowl history.
Yeah, it was great. I loved it.
My God.
He had Gronkowski for fucking 8 years.
Gronkowski missed like half of his last 5 seasons.
Oh, fuck off.
You know I'm right. Guys, weigh in on this. Tom Brady has just far surpassed Peyton Manning. It's just over.
It's
just over.
That's stupid.
I mean, your only defense is that Peyton Manning is a James Harden like stat stuffer in the regular season. I mean, maybe, but he's still not even better than a lot of regular season guys.
I
don't even put Peyton Manning in my top 5.
I'm about to quit the pod.
Like T.I.
Well, it doesn't matter. We're going to get shadow banned anyway.
We're just going to get kicked out.
So, speaking of idiots like yourself, my favorite video of the week. Well, there's a couple of the videos you showed me.
Oh, man. This is a whole rabbit hole.
So we got runnings for videos of the week, viral videos of the week. My personal favorite. So, teacher in California, Halloween, decides...
Again, not knowing your demographic.
White guy decides he's going to blackface it.
Yeah.
Go to class dressed as T.I.
No, Common.
Or Common.
Common.
T.I. is looking at vaginas. That's right. His daughter's vagina. My bad. That's Common. No, so white teacher California goes to class dressed as T.I. Full blackface.
Dressed as Common. His favorite rapper, Common.
Dressed as Common. And decides he's going to rap, too.
Rap. In front of, like, the homework.
Common has a plethora of albums and songs and work out there.
I can't name any of them, but I've seen him perform at the Oscars. He's won an Oscar for songs.
He's got a catalog of art.
He's very successful music.
Yeah, very successful.
Yeah.
This guy goes into class. First of all, he said that he did it in homage. That was his defense.
Yeah.
But he decides to rap, and he does the Common AT&T commercial where he's like, kids dying out there. AI, Microsoft, gonna change everything. And it's the worst white guy doing a black guy impression ever. And these kids are just sitting back there filming it and being like, you're done.
Those kids are just like, this is the best. Hey, remember that detention you
They're
gave me?
just sitting going, yep, he's done. You are fired.
There's so many things about the video that I found fascinating. One, I like that. I was telling you, I was like, when he was applying the shoe polish to his face, he had to have had like a little Alexa, rerun it.
Run it
right?
back.
And he's just, as he's like smearing the blackface on, he's just rapping like the Common commercial.
He practiced this for a week at least.
Oh,
like,
he had to know. He's just like, those young African Americans are finally going to know I'm an ally. Like, I'm in. Because it is weird, right? We've had a lot of these blackface things pop up.
Oh, yeah.
And, like even like, Trudeau from Canada, he went as like Aladdin one year. And I was like, why are you doing blackface for fucking Aladdin? Like, what the fuck? Like, go to the spray tan salon.
Right.
But, so there's a lot of this. Well, mine's not racist. And it's, this is a debate for like other people, right? Because I was telling you there was a story in the UK where this nurse went as Beyonce and her husband went as Jay-Z.
Right.
Now, his Jay-Z looked a little more racist, right?
Well, yeah.
But she got fired from being a children's nurse because of blackface. So this big debate cropped up of, dude, her job is to save children. And because she did something stupid, we're going to fire her from her job.
Right.
I don't know where I fall on this all the way. Because for me, it's like, I think if you're trying to like emulate someone you like, that should be taken into account. The history of minstrel and, blackface is pretty clear.
Sure.
But I do think I had this basic rule in life that some things, although they seem unfair, are just an IQ test.
Sure.
And if you're still doing blackface, you fail the basic IQ test.
That's the thing.
That matters.
That's the thing. I'm not for like the cancel culture. I'm like that stuff Obama came out and said a couple weeks ago was perfect. Like, why is everybody sitting there on Twitter and just like throwing stones and their only goal is to try to get people fired, but they're not actually out doing anything.
They're not making anything a better place.
It's just like fake woke. But anyway,
and also there's this whole thing. What he said is like no one's perfect.
But with that said,
yeah.
If you're ever thinking about doing blackface, and if you think that, and in your head you're like, you know what, my idea of blackface is better, and people are gonna see it different.
I'm taking it back,
and I'm gonna flip the script.
Yeah.
Just before you do it, just Google blackface.
Yeah.
And every news headline you read for the last however
Forever.
many years, that person is no longer. They've lost everything.
You know what though?
And then ask yourself, should I still do this?
Yeah.
And if you still say yes, you're an idiot, and you should still do
That's
it.
what I mean.
Because you're just an in the way person, and you need to be gone anyway. Because you're an idiot.
I agree. He failed the basic IQ test. It's like, you're dumber than a teacher should be. Right? You're dumber than a nurse should be.
And maybe his intentions were good. Maybe they were.
Well, this happened in Virginia, right? The governor did it, and then he's like, I'm not quitting my job.
It doesn't matter, though, like where your intentions lie with it. The precedent is set.
Right.
If you do blackface, you're fired.
Well, this is something everyone should know because we're about to go through this a lot in the news. Not your intentions, right? However good or whatever,
doesn't matter.
Ignorance of the law,
correct,
or being too dumb to commit the crime are not a defense against laws.
And you don't understand why it's offensive in the first place if you think that your intentions are good with it.
This is where it bothers me, though. Like, I'd like to see this guy's track record. Like, if he's a really good teacher,
maybe he is.
Ask his class. Did they care that much?
Yeah.
Like, I don't like the canceling.
No, I don't either. I hate that. I hate that.
it puts me in a weird spot where I'm like, you're so dumb. Like, if you're still doing blackface, you're a dumb person in society.
Right.
But also, I'm like, is it really like a fireable crime? And I mean, that's the thing. It's Bill Burr said this, right? Like, don't tell the people who should be offended how offended they should be.
Right.
I think it was Bill Burr who said that. It's like, it's not for me. Blackface isn't for me to litigate, right?
Right.
But it is just, I think, we were talking about this too. I think actually his biggest crime was how bad he was at rapping.
It was. Yeah, if you get a chance to watch the video, it's worth the watch.
Well, my biggest fear is
fucking hilarious.
The African Americans are going to take hip hop away from us. Okay, now here's an.
Oh, that's so good.
Okay, so this is something I was telling you. I had a run-in this week. So this is something that's happening in right-wing circles, I guess, is they're going to court the cool young guy vote.
Sure.
By appropriating hip-hop in the worst way, right?
Well,
so I found this girl. She's called the MAGA Kid, I think.
Yeah.
MAGA Kid Rap. And it's got the Stanley Kubrick horror movie lighting.
It's amazing.
And it's so bad. Well, then there's an even better one, right?
Yeah.
Where there's this crazy old lady who's like sitting in the car on her way to like a cheesecake factory, I'm presuming. Well, maybe, you know, her husband or friend drives and she's like, oh, okay, I'm going to... And she has the worst beat ever.
That's a fucking banger.
This beat? Democrat. Okay, we're not going to play the whole song.
No.
But I retweeted it, right? And I was like, this will be a funny joke for my movie podcast, Film Alchemist, right? And I was like, this new horror movie franchise of white ladies just slaughtering hip-hop.
Love it.
Is the scariest franchise in years. She fucking found it and replied to me, prepare for 2 weeks of nightmares. And I was like, what is happening? Why is this lady talking to me? I do think there is, if you're trying to like gather like people to your cause, showing how wildly uncool and good you are at hip-hop is the wrong way to do it. Listen, she has the line, though, that you love.
If you've never rapped... If you've never rapped, I don't care what you're trying to promote, what you're trying to do. If you've never rapped and you're thinking, you know what, if I want to draw attention to this, I'm gonna make a rap. Don't.
Yeah.
Because it's not gonna be good.
No.
At all.
Well, it's a classic. Like
I don't care if you're like, I love peanut butter cups.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a rap about these real quick because people need to know how I feel about these peanut. Don't do it. You're going to look like a fucking asshole.
Actually, I'm super pro do it because you got to get reps in.
I agree.
But it's like these ladies, that teacher, I was telling you, they're having their Eminem mom spaghetti moment where like they're on their way to do this thing that is going to be bad. But they're sitting there like, this is it.
Well, yeah.
Like that lady, when she posted that video, and I love it because I think on Twitter she still only has like 200 followers. Like after I had the viral video or whatever. Because everyone's like, we want to laugh at you, but we don't want to like have to read your tweets ever, which are pretty funny. If you read her tweets, they are hilarious. But it's just, I mean, it's the thing. Like if I went to
it's fun for me.
You know what I like?
I enjoyed the hell out of it.
I like UFC fights. I'm not like I should do that. I should. There are skills that people have that don't translate. This is what I was telling you though. I think if the white community stopped at like 80s rap, like kind of the fun Run DMC era, we can maybe handle that. But we got to get our training wheels on. You can't jump right into this. I'll just make a garage band beat that sounds like a fucking kazoo and just like casually, blandly rap in the side of a car.
I had a 6-month phase when I was a senior in high school maybe.
You're a
rapper. I was listening to Eminem a lot. and
it always comes back to the white savior.
Well, I was. Well, is that no? You know, it was a little bit Eminem, but it was the Chronic 2001 album in particular.
Yeah,
that he was on. But that album was just a banger all the way through. Yeah. Like Snoop and Dre and all those guys on it. And
you're like, you know what that album needs?
No,
Nick Hall.
I would. I had like a 6-month phase. I was young, and I was like, I think I could rap.
Yeah,
I did. I was like in my head, I was like, I think I could do that, and I was like, should I pursue it? Like, I had that thought, and I had a girlfriend at the time, and I told her that thought, and she immediately, without hesitation, goes, no.
No.
And it's the best advice. It's the best advice I've ever gotten in my life. It's the best. There's no chance. I've since reflected back and heard myself rap, and it wasn't good.
I'm not for naysaying a dream.
I'm glad I didn't make any videos.
I'm not for naysaying a dream. What I'm telling these MAGA ladies, the lady who was coming at me on Twitter, it's not that your video's bad now, it's that you jumped ahead, right? It's like Kanye said in his rap, right? Bitch, you gotta crawl before you ball, right?
I mean,
you've got to put the reps in. These guys are not getting shots up. They're not getting hip-hop shots up.
They're making the Super Bowl shuffle, every week.
They're doing that before training camp starts. That's wrong.
My name is Debbie, and I'm here to say I'm a big fan of the USA.
And I'm here to say, if you're gay, gross. Oh, that doesn't rhyme.
No,
shit. That doesn't rhyme. All right, back to the drawing board.
I have a lot of hate in my heart.
Yeah, and I don't want to crush these people from their dreams, because that's how,
I do.
Like, what if someone was like, hey, little fella who's wearing the
people tell me I suck.
We don't want to hear your music. And
I'm not telling them to quit. I'll still crush. People tell me I suck at comedy all the time. On the
literally
daily.
every
Don't
day
care.
we get that.
Don't care. I'm gonna keep pushing. I'm gonna tell her she sucks. Maybe she keeps pushing and she turns into fucking Feminem.
Feminem. You're on it today. Your pun game is strong. This is what I meant, though. That could have been a lyric in your rap album.
Yeah.
What if someone told Kiss to pack it up? We would have missed out on all these glorious songs.
I only pray they would have listened if that happened.
Bullshit. No, I'm not for crushing a dream, but I'm just saying, if your theory is we're going to reach the crowd that we want to bring into the MAGA rallies, don't just illustrate how wildly uncool you are.
That's not
like
exclusive.
All the musical Trump videos, it's just, these are people that are so deeply uncool. And that's not every one of his voters. They're not helping.
There's not a kid watching that's on the fence.
Yeah.
That's going to go, yep, that's where I'm going. That's the way I want to go now.
It literally
that's not going to bring anybody
serve.
but that's not exclusive to MAGA. It's like if you whatever it is you're lobbying for, that's not the way.
It's not.
That's not the way.
You're never going to be cool. But that's what I'm saying, right? It can only serve the purpose of scaring people off.
Oh, I love it though.
And I hate it because you see it on all spectrums of politics where people are like, we have to figure out how to get the young kids now. And I hate when it's like, I don't want to see Bernie Sanders doing Instagram stories.
God, no.
Like, it's never, like, he had a
hey,
video.
It's Bernie here.
Well, he had a video where, like, AOC, who's young, right? She's like a master of social media.
Bernie here, I'm going to do a rap. I'm going to do a little rap for your kids.
Well, he looks exactly like Larry David in a scene where he's just like, because he's in a room and she runs in and Bernie's like, huh?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, he's doing like bad 1920s comedy.
I don't care who. If my dad starts rapping, I'm like, I'm getting a new family, Dad.
Yeah.
Like, that's enough.
Also, there's an inherent truth. If you are over the age of 40, you're never going to be cool to young people. Yeah. It's impossible. Yeah. It's genetically, there's a boundary. Once you hit a certain age, you're not cool anymore.
Yeah. It's
like, unless you were wildly cool in your 20s, right? Like, if you're someone like Leonardo DiCaprio, all right, you had enough cool cred, you can coast in the post decades. This Debbie lady, or whoever she is, not cool. It's not cool. Stop doing it.
Yeah.
Like this teacher, right? He probably was like, oh, I'm the cool teacher.
How do I reach these kids?
How do I reach these kids? Yeah, like, I can do blackface because I'm the cool one.
I'm cool.
You're not.
Yeah.
You're not. And I think so many people would do better to just stop trying to be the cool one.
There was a high school football coach the other day that he posted a video of himself at like B-dubs after a game, and I said the N-word, I don't know, 15 times.
Yeah.
And got fired.
Yeah, right?
Got fired, and he was like, yeah, that's my bad. He was like, I'm not actually racist. And he's probably not, because he was like, my players sometimes, they like encourage me to use that word at practice.
Oh, I bet they do, so they can get a new coach.
No, it's like an inside joke. Whatever. Even if that's the case, don't film yourself yelling it at B-dubs. And he put it on his own Instagram.
Okay, now that goes...
It's not like somebody else filmed it and put it out. He was like, check this out.
This wasn't a gotcha.
You know, this is going to go over well.
Yes, but that gets back to IQ tests.
Yeah,
You're failing the basic IQ test of a society.
If you can't piece that together, that this is a bad idea... You probably, you don't need to be participating in society anyway.
I agree.
Yeah.
But that's what I think of all social media, right? Because everyone's like, oh, it's gotcha culture and this. I'm like, if you're putting something out into the world.
I hate the gotcha culture. Like, I don't care.
No, I'm with you on that. Like, there are people that get got, and you're like, what are we doing here, guys? Like, and this gets back to what you were saying. Like, not everyone's perfect and this and that.
No.
I don't think someone should not be able to have a job and whatever, because... I mean, it should be
people
job
fuck up.
Sure. But I also, if I'm an employer, right? If I'm an employer and you're like, oh, my best sandwich maker, right? My best sandwich maker, Rick, is so good at making this pastrami sandwich that is the hallmark of my business. but also on Instagram films himself, saying racist shit all day.
Right.
I can say, while he has the skill, he doesn't have the brain power necessary to make my sandwich shop thrive.
Right. But you always run the risk of going down that slippery slope of like legislating speech.
Which I'm not for at all. At that point,
no, I'm not for it all either.
But that's an argument though that I don't accept, because you can say whatever you want. You're not going to jail.
Right.
But you can get fired from a job for it.
Oh, correct. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely you can. Yeah. But it's like your argument just said, like the sandwich maker, right?
Yeah.
The two, like, even if he's an extreme bigot racist.
Yeah.
That doesn't have any bearing on how good he is at making sandwiches. It doesn't. The two things are not mutually exclusive.
Right, but it does have a bearing on if people want to come get money to
but that's where it is. It's the employers.
Yeah, and this guy's a teacher around children.
Yeah.
And he's showing a base level of stupidity.
Because they could be...
That's obnoxious.
Like, say just for example, like a Starbucks employee does this, right? And Starbucks goes and fires them or whatever. And they have to. They have to. As soon as that cancel culture hits, they have to do it, right? Or they could go, you know what? Yeah, he fucked up. He apologized, and we're gonna let him keep his job. Not gonna happen again, right? Perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
But that media shitstorm that Starbucks would get if they did that, and this is just an example. This didn't happen at Starbucks. I'm just using an example. Right. And then they start thinking about that and their bottom line, and they're like, we might make $2.8 billion next year instead of 2.9.
2.78.
Yeah, and so like we gotta let Ricky go.
I like what Neil Brennan said. Right, he's a comedian who used to work on Chappelle's show, and he's like, if you're really mad and upset by something I say, you have to wait 1 month to have an argument with me about it, and if you're still mad about it, we'll talk and I'll apologize and whatever. Right, you have to wait 1 month.
It's not a bad rule.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the thing, like, you never know, because even on this channel, right, we had, like, I'm just sitting here in my brain now, I'm like, oh, here we go, we're definitely going to get a couple comments like, you fucking liberals, like, it's going to happen, right? Like, we had a white supremacist just pop up in our live streams until we muted him, like, it's just out there, right? There are always people waiting to fuck things up. So, but you never know.
That's just a good...
Yeah, I don't like this cancel shit.
That's just a good rule in life, though, because like all that most of that cancel shit anyway is knee jerk stuff, right? So like, I have a little bit of a temper. I sometimes like get irrationally mad about things that I shouldn't, and like one thing that I try to fucking do now is just give it 5 minutes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like that thing that would be like, God, that fucking pisses me off.
Yeah,
fucking 5 minutes. If I'm still pissed. Maybe I should be, but usually after 5 minutes, I'm like, I don't care about that anymore.
Go have a smoke.
I don't give a fuck about that anymore.
ESPN for like 3 minutes.
But like, that's just a good rule in life. Like, if you see something on Twitter that pisses you off, wait a day, wait 10 days. Yeah. And if you're still that infuriated by it, then you know what? Go and start throwing those stones.
Or how about this?
Or think about what you did in the last week.
If you're so mad about it, get off Twitter and go help.
Yeah,
like, go
make
the world a better place. Right?
Look,
like, that's where I always fall, man.
I'm no fucking saint, man. Like I'm not out. I'm not out fucking building houses for Habitats for Humanity every day. But I'm also not fucking sitting on Twitter and going, nope, get him out of here.
Well, because
he said something I don't agree with.
I think those
and
people,
he can't have his job anymore.
Right?
Like,
they're just sad people who have little to nothing in their life.
Yeah.
So by getting someone who's got a profile or whatever, that makes them feel really good about themselves. And what I've learned as I age is, I just don't really care about anything. Right? Yeah. Like anything that's not in my immediate world, right? If you're not like a friend or family, if you say something, if you're whatever, I just mute you. Like I don't care enough anymore to like fight the fights.
It's not worth giving the energy.
Yeah, you're like, I try to be a good dude. Pay your taxes, whatever. Like try to follow the law, vote. Like that's all you can really do, right? You can't like. I'm never going to convince, because this happened in our other podcast, Long Box Sessions. We do a comic book one, and all these fucking nerds were like, Star Wars sucks now because they have chicks and black guys in it. And I was like, well, that's a dumb opinion. Next thing you know, we started getting all these like, how fucking dare you, you're for the destruction of the white race. I was like, what the fuck?
What are you talking about?
Like, I am part of the white race, and I just want to watch Star Wars and talk about, I want to talk about like the rules of the Jedi and not all this other shit that doesn't have to. Because it's so funny, too, because Star Wars has seen this a lot, where it's in like Marvel Universe, where it's like, oh, they have more women and people of color. I'm like, Star Wars has like fucking aliens.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have a fucking giant fat worm guy who's like keeping Leia as a sex slave. I'm like, there is no like white race, whatever. Like they're aliens.
Yeah,
you go to the first bar in Cantina.
They're otherworldly.
Yeah, there's a Satan guy. There's like a bug, right? There's a green guy who fucking Han shoots. Like, why are we talking about white people? Right? Like, there's a whole fucking universe. But it's just, some guy was like, I'm really mad about this race shit. Oh, Star Wars is the perfect conduit, so now I'm gonna fucking go at this dude. And it's just like, wow, like I can't believe people can muster that much anger about shit.
Yeah, it's silly. With all that said, we're both against cancel culture.
Yeah.
With all that said, if you're thinking about doing blackface, just don't.
But this is what I mean.
Just don't.
We were talking about this with like the Penny Hardaway story this week, right?
Yeah.
The guy who could go #1 in college basketball was ruled ineligible for the season by the NCAA.
Yep.
Right? And then he played anyways, and like, we're going to fight it in court.
He won the court battle.
Well,
that's why he played.
He got to stay, right?
Yeah.
So they're going to keep. This is going to be an ongoing thing. The problem is there's a rule that says you can't essentially like buy players to come to your school. Penny Hardaway paid for this kid's parents to move so they could watch his games, right? And he paid about, I think it was $11,500, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so on one hand, I'm like, yeah, like, okay, the kid is there. He's a big time player. Why can't his parents come and see?
Right.
On the other hand, Penny Hardaway, if that was an inherent part of the deal, specifically could have swayed this player by saying, I will buy your parents' move here. Like a wealthy guy paid the thing that might have made him choose Memphis. And this is their first #1 prospect they've gotten in forever.
Sure. Well,
to come to his
Derrick
school.
Rose, yeah.
Yeah, right? And so it's one of those where you're like, it puts me at this weird spot where you're like, on a philosophical level, fuck the NCAA, they're criminals, and I hate it. But also, it's kind of an IQ test.
Yeah.
Like Penny Hardaway and this kid's family should have known this wasn't going to fly.
Yeah.
The thing that sucks is that this kid is going to get punished for it.
But
when adults are making poor IQ decisions.
But didn't he pay for their move after the fact, after the kid already signed or whatever?
But what if that was part of the agreement?
I mean,
before?
yeah, I guess it could have been.
That's the litigation of
Regardless, though, like, I don't understand why that's against the rules.
It's only $12,000. That's like he's not buying like a mansion.
Yeah, it's same thing with that Ohio State kid that got suspended. I hate Ohio State, so I never go to bat. I never go to bat for those motherfuckers. I hate them. But that kid should not be suspended. He got suspended because last season,
right,
he had somebody that gave him money so that his girlfriend could fly out to watch his bowl game. Right. He then paid the guy back. He paid him back, and he's suspended indefinitely for that. Like, why?
Because then you're asking.
Yeah, but what bearing does that have on the outcome of any game? Like, why is the NCAA legislating that? What bit?
The NCAA has this weird purity seal.
It's because they didn't get any of the money. That's why it's against the rules.
Because here's the questions I would ask if I was an NCAA litigator, right? Would he have paid that back if he didn't get caught? 2, it's not a family member.
He paid it back before he got caught, before it was reported.
He did pay it back all the way before it was reported. Well, then why did they pay it in the first place? Why didn't he just buy the ticket?
Well, I guess he didn't have it at the time. I don't know.
Oh, sure.
It doesn't
some
matter.
other booster for the Ohio
State. Why
State
is that an indefinite suspension offense?
I agree.
I can't wait till the NCAA burns to the fucking ground.
But this
it's
is what
the worst organization in the history of the fucking world.
I agree.
Behind the it's not. It's up there though.
The church. I was like, this is the first world problems. Like, if we're gonna take out like the people doing crimes and shit, like this is a bad one.
I can't wait to watch that fucking institution burn though. It's nonsense.
Hey man, I agree. But this is what I mean. This is what we were saying with the fucking previous discussion is there are things that philosophically I'm on one side, but then my biggest rule in life is I do believe in IQ tests and self-inflicted wounds.
Yeah.
And this is just one of those things where it's like Penny Hardaway, who was probably recruited and this and that.
He was.
He probably, I feel like a lot of these athletes probably got some shine.
Yeah, I think it was called Memphis State when he went there, though.
You know better. Penny Hardaway and that kid's parents, anyone who's that high level, right? They're getting recruited all over the place.
Right.
Someone has to have said, hey, these are the rules, be careful. Right. And if you still fuck up, then you are failing an IQ test. So I'm always put in this weird, where's your code in life versus, sometimes people just self-inflict the wounds and it's hard to feel bad for them.
Juwan Howard, the other day in the press conference after the game, they asked him something about like the young guys on the team or something like that. And he was like, yeah, they're good and blah, blah, blah. And he said, and we got a good class coming and we got, and he said 2 names or something of guys that weren't signed yet, but that had like interest. And sure enough, like a school rep came up and he was like, "You can't say that."
Yeah.
And he was like, and Juwan like right there on the spot was like, "That's my bad." He's like, "I should know that rule. I got hired to coach, and I don't, and I'm gonna take it upon myself to better understand these rules. That's my fault."
Yeah.
Right. But why is it you can't say the name of a fucking recruit?
Sure.
You know what?
This
like,
is what
what
I mean.
is the NCAA doing? Like,
I agree in principle with all of that.
Fuck? Why is that a rule? I just don't get it.
Hey, I like I said again, I agree in principle with all of that.
Yeah.
But see, that's something minor. When you're actually giving
that's
dollars,
not going to be a major offense anyway. That's just like a slap on the wrist.
If you even rent a U-Haul, right? Like when I go to rent a U-Haul, there's like 3 pages of paperwork you have to sign.
Right.
Somewhere in that 5-minute window, your brain has to be going, this feels like I could get in trouble for it and make a better choice.
Like they have a limit on the number of phone calls you can make to a recruit.
Oh, believe me, IU fans know that.
Yeah,
Calvin Sampson was just like a fucking Twitter binger, and we got our
listen.
whole
If the
program
coach is
got
like blowing you
annihilated.
up like an X or something, like the kid's probably not going to go anyway. Like,
right.
You don't need to put a rule on it.
We're still suffering from that.
Kelvin called me 9 times last
Yeah.
night. Hey, what are you doing?
I don't know. We should have probably.
Did you get Disney Plus?
Yeah. I don't know what the fans say. Where do you fall? Do you have like hard and fast rules, or are you a pro IQ test guy?
I just hate rules. I think that's what it is.
Well, I feel like we should have.
I'm that fucking rebel, I guess. I don't know.
I agree. I feel like we're pretty open minded guys. I know. I can't wait for the comments. I know we're gonna get.
Oh, we're gonna get killed.
We should have trigger warning to this all, right? We should have been like, hey guys, sorry.
Trigger warning.
Yeah. You know, it was a little slower week in sports, so we did some other.
We're gonna get canceled. Somebody's gonna cancel Culturist. Sure, we said something dumb.
Did we fail our own IQ test? That's the question we're going to have to ask ourselves.
We're sitting up here in our fucking tower just failing our own test.
We know everything. We're smart. I think that's the nice thing, though. We have the built-in defense that we are not smart guys.
Yeah.
And we don't sit here and pretend
this
to be
is a
smart
satire
guys.
site.
Yeah.
Joke's on you.
I don't know. We're already too hot for YouTube. We might as well just start throwing bombs.
Hey, guys. Make sure you go to Apple Podcasts, rate, review, at Coach Kent Murphy on all social media. CoachKentMurphy.com for the sweet gear. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.